Greetings, this is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster. Welcome to another movie review. This time, I have watched Atop the Fourth Wall, the movie. And yes, I'm going to review it. Also, I'm gonna have in the studio Silly Kelly and Clint Cowpoke, and we're all gonna review it. I'm gonna put this all together. So I'm gonna do my part, and then yeah. We'll comment, they'll comment, and we'll all comment together, and we'll put it all together. So my first take on it is that apparently that there's a guy named Lynn Cara that does these comic book reviews. I was not aware of his existence, so honestly, I haven't watched any of his other videos and have no idea what he's done, except that, like Nostalgia Critic and Cinema Snob and some of the other Channel Awesome people, he's one of the Channel Awesome people. So apparently he's done that, and the Nostalgia Chick and those guys. I've watched a lot of the Nostalgia Critic, Channel Awesome. I've watched a lot of Cinema Snob as well. And Red Letter Media is not really associated, but sometimes a little bit of crossover there, but very little. But no, all of the Channel Awesome people, they get together. And they have like this critics analysis thing, apparently, as a result of their or something. So I'm looking over. Okay, hello. It's been a long time. It has. Silly Kelly. It's been a long time since I've been here. I went through the movie reviews and stuff, where I did a couple for the 2 channels, the Weird Kitty 07, and did some of those, and then took off for a long time. Yeah, I was down at. I was doing other things, as you can see. So yeah, but yes, so I'll just let you use your imagination with the Star Trek suit here. Yeah, I was not in Canada or Dubai, just so you know, wasn't there. Didn't win the contest, but no, didn't enter the contest. But I have been consultant on the Chimera scripts, and we have 35 minutes left to go. Yeah, so, anyway, so I'm here to, I guess, talk about this thing we watched. Yeah, and doing the whole thing, so yeah, the Lynn Cara movie, yeah, more familiar with that than Kal Kat. Not too much more, though. He tends to he's got like 2 or 3 characters, kind of like my shtick, actually, our shtick. Yeah. And yeah, so he does kind of the same thing, and except we're not famous. We're just sort of, but yeah, man, Silly Kelly here. So why not? But yeah, yeah, okay. So I thought it was kind of funny that like he got this crossover between all those characters, and he had them all together on the ship and all that in the living room, and the odd feeling of seeing someone doing on a budget Starcrackers, which it pretty much is, was kind of fun. And you know, like it's like a lamp. Keep the movie shit out of the way. He's that freaking shape, you know what I'm saying? Guess gonna hold this whole string together, eh? Operating the camcorder. Yep, Clint Cowpoke. Yep. I was in the Robotech thing you guys are talking about. Yeah. I watched the Lynn Cara thing too. I got no idea who he is. But there was a character sort of like Thompson from Starcrackers in there. A little sort of me. A little bit. Yeah. Thompson. Except kind of without the accent. But yeah, so there I was. But I wasn't really in the Cara movie. I'm just saying I was in Starcrackers. I was also one of the Zuri in that one, in the update. 2005 stuff they shot later. Yeah, our version took like almost 20 years to put together correctly.
We ran out of money in 1992 and released only an hour of it. Went back in 2005 and reshot 20 minutes of it. Added to it, and it looked real weird. And then we went back in 2012 and finally finished it. The version online from 2013, a little bit later, is the version that you can see online on our regular channel. Now, that's got nothing to do with the Lynn Carr thing. Apparently he's been doing Atop the Fourth Wall for 4 years, just like Kal Kat show's been around for 7 on one channel and 5 on the other one. Yeah, and there's some other independent channels as well. So yeah.
Spinoff stuff, I should say. They have a critics channel, and apparently they go to Comic-Con, and there's enough of them there, and they have girls that help them out. So they actually have the Nostalgia Chick and whatnot, and some of the other ones, and they all get together and they make a comic book channel that's been around for about as long as the Kal Kat show, but they have a studio and they have money and they have at least enough notoriety and whatnot. The studio 1212 apparently gave them enough money to do an anniversary special that just came out this Thanksgiving called Atop the Fourth Wall, the motion picture, or the movie, the same motion picture, the movie, in which they essentially lovingly recreated a Star Trek-esque world, crossed a little bit of Star Wars, a little bit of Babylon 5, and proceeded to do a spoof where their main character, Lynn Carr, is apparently in possession of a spaceship. And the premise of the story is that he and his spaceship are used to stop an intergalactic problem out by Jupiter. So, with his cast and crew, all of them playing different characters from the show, I have no idea who they are, but they all go out on space missions. And they bring Cinema Snob along as a comic relief character who shows up and does his own spiel thing. Originally, I was going to do this review as the characters that I played in the sort of space epic my group did years ago. But I decided not to do that in favor of just doing the current people, because that would be silly if, that just randomly happened, that no one would get it. Whereas, in the case of this story, this review, I'm not, we're not nearly as famous as that. We don't have a studio with backing and stuff. It's also a little bit of X-Files thrown in there. I thought there was a little more of that too. X-Files. Yes, definitely some X-Files. They had a secret agent from the government who wanted to get his spaceship from him. So he was there and in the story. And he eventually convinces him not to, hand over the ship. When Kara convinces the guy not to hand over the ship or kill him. And there's this... And so they continue with their sort of banter, and there's a lot of... and they send this other group of astronauts, allegedly, send this group out into space to Saturn, or Jupiter, to look for, Jupiter, to look for the debris field. And in the debris field, apparently that's where they fought a previous enemy that was out there. So they should have figured that previous enemy should be there again, but it was they didn't. But they went out there. The planet Europa, the moon Europa, is apparently been terraformed in this universe, and they get to go there too. There's a fight in space, like Wrath of Khan type fight. There's a nod to Terminator. Blatant rip-off, I should say, to Terminator at the end. But or skip with that. So is it good? Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's not. I suppose if you're a fan of the comic book show, I don't know enough about it, really. I've seen some of the other stuff, right? The Fourth Wall stuff. And if you're a fan of Mystery Science Theater 3000, he's ripping that off too. It's got an even crow type of rope. So you got that a little bit in there too. So that's cool. MST3K guys in there doing their own thing. Which is fine because there's a lot of bad stuff to make fun of, especially from the 90s. Oh yeah, let's see what's.
Just recently, the Disneyland trip. Well, but we're not famous. In fact, yeah, they get to have girls in their videos, whereas Kal Kat and Mark's Cards is kind of stuck. If they got to have girls in theirs, they dress them up themselves up like women folk. They don't look like women folk though. They look like dudes. It's even funnier when Mark's Cards all hairy playing that sailor girl from the series. That's just ridiculous. And there are some characters like her in there. There's a first officer / counselor lady, and then there's another sort of counselor lady. So they got like Kira and Troy, like Kal Kat was saying. Yeah, Kira and Troy kind of mixed together, and they're kind of in it. Charles Chick, I guess is who she is. And they got that funny cinema snob fella too. But oddly enough, Nostalgia Critic only has a cameo. And he like flips out over garbage pail kids. Yeah, during the space. He also narrates the space epic thing in the bartender. And his brother's in it. Yeah. It's the other guy. But yeah, so they got this space adventure. It's sort of a do your own studio thingy filmed on a low budget, in which they spent all of the budget on the alien ship that they built and nothing else. They spent a lot of money on the alien ship, and then when they ran out of money, they said, oh, we'll just put a console in the living room and just say it's the ship, and a kitchen and say that's the engineering room, even though it clearly is a kitchen. Yeah. And the bar is clearly part of the set. It's in there too. But yeah, so they used some green screen work too in there, I could see that. They Terminator. Yeah, they ripped that off. But then again, everybody does Terminator.
Yeah, it's not a studio. So did I like it? Well, kind of. There were parts that were interesting. It is a fan film, I'll give it that. And because it's a fan film, I give it some leeway, as I gave to Star Trek Renegades, which was actually a theatrical production where they had enough money and actors in it to pull off something special for the 49th anniversary, I guess, not the 50th, and Star Trek. But in this case, they weren't doing a Star Trek thing. They were just doing kind of their own comic booky sort of thing, using a lot of tie-ins and stuff. There was a guy named 90s Guy and everything. I'll have Kelly talk about him. Oh, yeah, 90s Guy. 90s Guy. Kal Kat. You mentioned 90s Guy. I'm thinking like, he's Carrie from Starcracker. With a little bit of Henderson. What else? Nostalgia Critic. Oh, if you don't know who Carrie is, he's a character that played on Starcrackers in 1992. So these guys in 1992 were probably 10. I was a little older. So I was probably closer to 20, 19, 20, somewhere around there, and 21. And 17, 20, somewhere around there. So they were 10. They were 10 years younger. So they would have been children. They weren't in the story, but they know nothing about it. They're a little younger than we are. Yeah. They're clearly younger. They're 10 years maybe younger. Maybe Nostalgia Critics, maybe 8 years younger, maybe 9. But yeah, so we're not associated with them in any way. And I have a cat. Houdini. Here's Purr Beast. Isn't Purr Beast cute? Purr Beast kitty. Yes, he's a good boy. He's a good little kitty. Look at the size of this kitty cat. This here's a boy kitty cat. It's a tomcat. He's real big. Meow. Meow. There he goes. Throw that in there. That's right where Kelly laughs about the cat. But, But yeah, it was. It had moments of clarity and stuff. I thought there were times where it could have been tightened up a little bit. It didn't need to be 90 minutes, like many other fan films where they want to put an ensemble in there. They're apparently an acting troupe like College Humor is, and they have acting shop. They've been to some acting schools and they've learned the trade. So it's not like just some random gamer writer and comic book critic has come out and done his own thing and been discovered or something. No, he was already something, not in Hollywood, an independent, but he was something already. So yeah, it wasn't like he's going around saying, yeah, I'm the best expert ever and I know what I'm doing and I'm gonna pitch for like real comic book people and meet them and stuff and whatever. And he has done some interviews, so he has actually met comic book people, unlike certain other people that have done. Well, there's a lot of fan films out there where people claim they've done stuff they haven't. Kal Kat Show has not claimed it hasn't. But there was I did another review earlier of a fan story that was online where this person had been a gamer and they had done a script and claimed they were pitching for Star Trek, even though nobody outside the business pitches for them. Let's leave it at that. This is about At the Fourth Wall, though. This is another fan film. Red Letter Media. This is another group I watch. They're another troupe. They're over there in Milwaukee. This group is in Minnesota, apparently, which is my mother's hometown. So why not do a Minnesota one? Some of the other guys are in California and other states and Kentucky. I think Channel Awesome is in Kentucky as well. I think, but yeah, they're more or less Midwest to the East Coast kind of guys, so they probably go to New York Comic Con instead of the LA one. One of these days, Kal Kat will go to Comic Con, but it hasn't happened yet. But
yeah, so yeah, but I didn't mind it. I could have stood a little less of the talky parts where he's trying to like decide whether he's depressed or not, doing that. That wasn't necessary, really. I think it would have been a much better. I mean, it's a fan film, so what? But it would have been much better if they just left some of that, tightened it a little bit, It could have made it. They could have made it. They could have got to the thing quicker. In business or script writing, they say show, don't tell, and they were telling instead of showing. And we did the same thing in Chimera. We broke that rule too. They did as well. That's fine, but they're just trim it out a little bit. We didn't need a lot of the other stuff. It's fun that they did it, and it's cool that they did it. But they really needed to trim it a little bit. I would have taken about 20 minutes of it out, just because we didn't need the extra exposition. We just need to know that we need to know something about the characters, but we don't need redundant lines and scenes. We just didn't need that information. We didn't need to know that again. So anyway, back to the movie. Since I didn't know a lot of the backstory of the characters and the situations in the story, I couldn't really review it in terms of it being, okay, is he in character here correctly? Is Linkara doing his thing? Is the evil bad guy that shows up later, is he doing it correctly? Are they literally breaking the fourth wall? That kind of thing. Or are they just sort of kind of breaking the fourth wall? And I think if you're a critic that's looking at the camera, you're kind of constantly breaking the fourth wall because you're looking at the audience saying, audience, listen to me. So you are as an acting person. So, so that's what it is. But yeah, he tried to put character development in this. And there was a sizable budget for their special effects. Not so much for the spaceship that they have to rescue with the alien ship. That looks like a living room. And they even break the fourth wall there and say, but this ship is a living room. Which I thought was hilarious. Yes. So, but they could have trimmed some of that and made it more of an action-y kind of thing. They didn't need a lot of the exposition and the character development, even though it was nice to have it. It could have just been tighter. that part of it is a little off. But yeah, they just wanted to have themselves in there chewing scenery. That's fine. Yeah, the Clint Cowpoke. Yeah, I directed the Robotech into the circle thingy. Our fan film, not the real Robotech. Fan film. And yeah, now we're on the book. Novelization, a little fan film storybook version of it. So you get to read that on the channel, on the Google. But yeah, and even there, it's a good show no tell. Yeah. I could add some little tidbits. But in your case, I'm not going to do anything with that. I'm not going to do... I'm fan filming my own fan film. I'm plugging myself. Just why not?
Case in point with my... my nod to Valentine to the fans, well, not Valentine at this point. It was a... when did I do the Robotech thing? It was October. I guess Halloween card to the fans. Okay, in my Robotech thing, I just took the bare bones of the story and I said, okay, I'm going to do a Robotech nod to the fans, 30th anniversary, say let's get Rick Hunter home, do that. And I kind of just slung it together. So when I did it, there was almost no script. It was just an outline and I just went and shot it. And okay, don't want too much character development because we want to get right to the story, the information. Now, in the case of this, it's more like my earlier works. It's more like my works with Mark's Cards and Jim Chacon and Tim C. back in the day. It's like Starcrackers. It's like watching their version of their fan film, of their big fan odyssey thing. Their version of that. I don't think they watched Starcrackers. I don't think they have any idea what that is. I think what they watched was the same shows. They watched Deep Space Nine. They watched a lot of that. They watched Babylon 5. They watched New BSG. And they watched The Terminator. And they were like, oh, this is cool. Let's do a movie where we incorporate all of that somehow. And let's have a little bit of Voyager in there. Let's have a Janeway type of character. Let's have a Kira type of character. Let's have kind of a Janeway / Troy character. Mix it in there with Kira. Let's have, a protagonist, an antagonist. Let's make the antagonist an evil twin. But let's make the evil twin an android. That was interesting. We didn't do that in Starcrackers. Yeah, I played the villain in Starcrackers, which was interesting in my story. I played Wrestler. And yes, but I also played some of the heroes in the background. Mark's Cards played the captain. And actually this guy kind of looks a little like Mark's Cards. So it's kind of funny to see like the sort of interplay going on there. It just reminded me of my own stuff, of course. Yeah, I don't know them. I'm not saying I did. So, yeah. We need is a Terminator cyborg coming in there. Well, that was a little strange. But, ew, and I don't know why the 90s are so great. It was the 80s that were better. The millennials are... No. Power Rangers. Really, no, Transformers. The original 80s Transformers. G.I. Joe. That was the bomb. That was awesome. Up there. Transformers and G.I. Joe. Look forward to playing an Optimus Prime type figure this next year. I will play him in a Transformers Anniversary Adventure Combiner Wars battle. It'll be powerful. Just playing. Yes, there will be something. Now, the Endless Circle Robotech thing, that was meant to be 3 22-minute episodes, which is why it's only like 65 minutes. It was meant to be like a pilot. And yes, it has been greenlit, but we have not come up with any more episodes yet. So, that's what you get for writing story with no show's Bible. Yeah. So as soon as we come up with something else to have Rick Hunter do, But yeah, talking about other things. Oh well, it should be in there anyway. Hopefully they can look up the Kal Kat channels. On Location Cats Reviews. KATS Cats Reviews. And look us up and go like, you rip-offs, yeah, you stalled out. And, that'll be fun. But no. Our stuff we've deliberately set it up so we don't get flagged as much as the other channels do. We even got flagged for running a Disney video from a Disney trip, Mark's Cards and Kal Kat. So it's like they even got us on that. It's like so yeah, we deliberately just don't put up the footage and then we just comment. So, but yeah, the 90s guy is basically the obnoxious character in the story who, in this version, in Break the Fourth Wall, Atop the Fourth Wall, the movie, he is kind of the comic relief, but also nostalgia critic is. But he also is the smart, perceived dumb guy. And at one point, he comes out and he goes like, "I'm not really the dumb guy. It's just everybody typecasts me that way," which is pretty funny. But yeah, it's kind of like how Asloth, who was another character played by Mark's Cards in Starcrackers, Asloth turns out to be the voice of reason, ahead of Clark. It's Clark's character in the top. Also in Starcrackers, it reminded us of Starcrackers because it was so much like it. It's like this is on the same wavelength as these guys. The trip, we even have 90s catchphrases in Starcrackers and Break the Fourth Wall a few times. Sure, we got not in there somewhere and extreme in there, but when we did it in such a way that you didn't notice. Like stuff would happen where somebody would say that's extreme, and it would just be that's the gag. Something extreme happened, or not. That would happen. But that's 90s stuff. Because we were a little older, we just went with it. Yeah, filmed the floor and whatever. But yeah, so I'm wearing a Star Trek, which is funny. Yeah, so so yeah, that'll be fun. But there were a few other characters that were a bit like the Starcrackers ones too. But I just go there because that's what I know. The commander is Lunkara. Lunkara is pretty much Clark from Starcrackers. If they happen to watch the Starcracker, go ahead and watch it. You'll see a kind of similarity. And take note that was 2012 when the official final version of that was, and it predates your story by 3 years. So there you go. And it's in the living room most of the action. On a console thing. I liked how they referenced that. That's cool. But this console is in the living room. It's like, it's all fun. Nostalgia Critic. Oh yeah, we watched Nostalgia Critic and Channel Awesome and Cinema Snob, and some of them were funny. There's some funny stuff. And like when they reviewed Leprechaun and had Jennifer Aniston in it, that was funny. Yeah, they've reposted a lot of their stuff. Apparently they got spammed. Yeah, they had some haters that somehow got some of their videos taken down, which is probably just haters. It's probably not even WMG or UMG or anything like them. It's probably just some jealous, like other critic show that was like, no, ours is better. Just like, no, you guys know what you're doing. It's a studio. And internet critics is good because you can just do that straight up, put it online. So yeah, it's totally for that internet critic stuff. Yeah, that's all I really got to put about it. I mean, it worked. The song was funny. Theme song. It's trying to be Mystery Science Theater 3000 is what it's trying to be. But with a bigger budget. And shit. It's also trying to be other things. It's trying to be Red Letter Media a little bit. Maybe they were the haters. I don't know, maybe. And yeah, and Stone Gremlin Productions is also thrown in there for fun. He's also one of those guys. But yeah, let's just call that. They don't get stoned. It would be a more interesting movie review if they got stoned. That'd be kind of funny. They'd be in the middle of the review going like, dude, what? I'm reviewing the movie, dude, and dude, I forgot. The other one would be like giggling, like, because you know, that's Scooby snacks. Yeah. Those weren't Scooby snacks. Mm-hmm. Yeah, special brownies. I think maybe on this video there were some special brownies involved. Yeah, would seem to be. Don't know for sure, but maybe.
But yeah, so that other video, the one that I reviewed. Yep, it's like Star Crackers too. But they haven't watched Star Crackers, they're just on the same wavelength as us. On the same wavelength. So go and watch it. It's cool, I guess. You can watch it or not, whatever. If you're a fan of their show, you'd probably like it. Because it's got all their stuff in it. Yeah. Also, I'm sure there will be other Kal Kat movies and shows in the future, including a recent toy show thingy. Yeah, there will be. There's a Clint Cowpoke thing too. Yeah, of course. There's a Clint Cowpoke thing. Of course there is. Anyway, so let's plug ourselves instead of them. That's all right. So yeah. I'm gonna get on now. I'm done with my review of it, I guess. I mean, they had a spaceship in it, an alien ship and a space battle. Yeah. It was like the end of the circle at the end. I'm sure they took several years to put that together. I'm sure it took them like 3 or 4 years because, yeah, there's a lot of detail in there they had to work out. And it is a fan film of something. Star Trek. A little more Star Trek. So, yeah. Of this film, yes, as a fan film, yeah, they tended to not. They were breaking the fourth wall, obviously. The fact that they were doing that and showing, not telling, the fact that they were doing that, well, that's okay because they clearly were trying to spoof that idea. So I don't think they were an acting troupe. So yeah, well, was it good that they referenced Terminator in there? I suppose. Why not reference Terminator? Genesis was terrible, so why not reference it? But yeah, it was actually, that was a gross horror scene in which the cowboy starts to peel off his face. It's kind of, not cowboy. Oh, the bad guy. Cowboy. Okay, this is so on the cheap. It's ridiculous. Okay, I'm reshooting the very, very end of this little clip here, just in a closing, to say that yeah, they're an acting troupe of critics, and that they're meant to do the things they were doing in the movie. I think they intended to act crazy and mess up the story and have it be the fourth. Or literally, it was like meta to them. So they meant to do it. Loved it. So, yeah. So that's it, really. Yeah. That was my closing. So yeah, guys, we can get out of here and do our own thing. And that was At the Fourth Wall. We have added them to the subscribers. You should like and subscribe to our channel as well.